What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the OCM5 from Otter Creek. Before we get started, I want to let you know to check down the description of this video. There's a link there to my campsite page. Check out my campsite page. There's a lot of good deals on there for you guys to various gun related websites where you can do your shopping. Some of them, it saves you a little bit of money. It definitely helps out the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. If you're looking for a good suppressor wrap or other great nylon gear, check out Burn Proof Gear. Use code KYTAC there to save yourself 10% on anything you purchase off the website. Alright guys, today, like I said, we're looking at the OCM5 from Otter Creek. What this is a SPR Mark 12 kind of specific suppressor. It works with the SPR barrels that are set up with the brake and collar. If you're not familiar with the Mark 12 system, it's a very popular AR-15 variant that was used by SOCOM and the military in the GWAT days. SPR stands for Special Purpose Receiver. And what it is, they use this brake and collar. Now the brake, as you can see, has fine threads here on the outside of it, and the collar has a tapered portion right here. The tapered portion of the collar helps align the suppressor, and of course the threads on the brake are for threading the suppressor. That's the method of attachment. Now the first suppressor like this was the OpSync 12th model. That was the specific suppressor for this platform. And as you can see, it's an over the barrel type suppressor. I'd love to show attaching this, but that's against YouTube rules, and unfortunately I can't show you guys how to safely attach this suppressor. But I'm sure you can figure it out. It slides over this portion. It'll meet threads on the inside here and begin to thread down, and you'll get several rotations before it meets up with this tapered portion on the collar. Then you'll have a very solidly mounted suppressor, and it seems to be super accurate too. The taper definitely helps keep it from backing loose. It's kind of like if you've looked at your lug nuts on a car, they use that taper. It takes more force to loosen than it does to tighten, so it doesn't back off very easily. As a matter of fact, I've never had one back off. I usually, as you guys know, I run Griffin's taper mount system, and for years now I've never once had a suppressor come loose, ever. So the suppressor started out being made by OpSync. Then whatever happened with them, they went out of business. The guy that actually built the suppressors for OpSync broke off, started his own business, Allen Engineering. And if you can pick up an Allen AEM5, that's a pretty good copy, or an exact copy, of the OpSync Mark 12 suppressor. The thing with Allen Engineering suppressors, the guy just built them here and there, and I think they're still in business, but he's definitely tapering off. So along came Andrew from Otter Creek, and he's made what I would call a modern version of the OpSync suppressor. Uses more modern baffles. And on the outside, it definitely looks just like an OpSync or an Allen AEM5. So for any cloners, this will definitely pass any clone test that's not too highly scrutinized. Very, very well made suppressor. The suppressor is made from heat treated stainless steel. It's a very solid can. The baffle should hold up very well. Heat treated stainless steel is a very solid material. so I wouldn't worry too much about wear and tear. It's pretty lightweight. It's definitely lighter than the AEM5 from Allen Engineering. So if you're looking to save a little weight and have a little more modern design, I'm not going to say it's any quieter. I don't have the sound equipment or an AEM5 to compare it against. I have watched some comparison videos where with the naked ear you couldn't tell a difference in them at all. But if I had to put my money on it, I would say the OCM5 is quieter just from the modern design, but I'm not going to state that as a fact because I certainly don't know that. So we'll head out to the range here, guys, and put a few rounds through this can, see what it sounds like for ourselves, and do a little accuracy testing too with this Mark 12 Mod 1. This is definitely not an exact clone of a Mark 12 Mod 1. It doesn't have the exact kind of rail. Certainly doesn't have the exact receivers, and doesn't run the exact type of scope either. This is what I would like to call a modern Mark 12. We've got a modern Mark 12 silencer and a modern Mark 12 Mod 1. All right, guys, it's about 38 degrees outside. Got about a 5-6 mile per hour wind. It's pretty chilly, so we're just going to do the shooting portion. This is my Mark 12 Mod 1 with the Otter Creek OCM5. I'm shooting 77 grain Sierra Match Kings. These are hand loads. And we'll be shooting for groups down here at 100 yards. I'm going to take a shot with my one ear off. Okay, yeah, that's not bad at all. I could probably take all these shots without ears. I mean, it's probably not the smartest thing to do, but definitely no ringing. Sounds really good. Definitely the quietest 5.56 I've ever shot. And you'll hear that about the Ops Inc. suppressor and the Allen Engineering suppressor, and this one. It's probably the quietest suppressor you can get for 5.56. But just to keep my ears warm, I'm going to go ahead and cover my ears back up. All right, what was that, 4 or 5 shots on target? All right, that should be 5. All right, now I'm going to shoot for a 1-inch circle. I can tell I pulled that one. Not too bad of a group. If you take out the one that I called that I pulled at the very first shot. All right, guys, I got some 55 grain full metal jacket. This is just some Freedom Munitions 55 grain full metal jacket. All right, let's see where these hit. I'll do my little 2-inch circles. Yeah, those don't shoot very well at all. Not that I was taking the time to be too precise. Let's see, those are shooting to the right, just a hair, about 1 inch to the right. See if I can get a hit on steel here. I got a steel target at 250 yards. Yeah, I know that one's gonna miss. All right. We hit her still every time, but twice there, which I was, man, my fingers are so cold I can't even feel them. All right, so that gives you guys a good sample of what this can sounds like. I'm in between my house and the barn here, so you might get a little reverberation of that sound, but very quiet 5.56 can. Definitely the quietest 5.56 can I've ever shot, and from everything I've heard, it's the quietest 5.56 can on the market. Now it does have the proprietary Mark 12 mounting system. You got to have the brake and the collar, which is a superb lockup, superb mounting system. But it just doesn't work on every gun or on every barrel. These SPR builds I love them. If you guys haven't seen my Mark 12 Motto, my PSA clone, I got a video on my channel of that. Check it out. But this in here has been a really good shooter. It's not a half MOA gun by any means, but it's a pretty good shooting gun. All right, guys, let's go down and take a look at the target. All right, guys, here's our first 5 shots on target. Probably right around 1 inch. I mean, these were really rushed. I was freezing to death. I hate to make excuses, but I know on a better day I could do much better than that. But that was our cold bore shots and the first 5 shots through the gun today. Then here's our next 5 shot group. This is the one I said I called, I said I pulled. Definitely pulled that one, wasn't no question about it, knowed it before it ever even hit the target. And here's our next 4. You can see right around about 1 inch. These are 1 inch dots. This one's not, this is the 3 inch dot. I think 3, 2.5, whatever. If you guys are familiar with these targets, these Birchwood Casey targets, that's the biggest one, and then they come with a medium sized one, and then these 1 inch dots. But here you can judge by our 1 inch dot, that's about a 1 inch group. Not the best conditions ever was, but I never made any adjustments to my scope. This gun was sighted in at 100 yards. All I did was add the suppressor, and it doesn't look like it threw the zero off a whole lot. Both these groups are to the right of center, so maybe a little bit of a shift to the right, but not much. And here's our 55 grain group, which I was just throwing out there real fast. The guns definitely favors the 77 grain Sierra Match Kings. All right, guys, hopefully the sound came through pretty good there in the video. And hopefully you could hear this can sounds great on 5.56. Definitely the quietest 5.56 can I've ever shot. And if you've done much research online, most people will say that these types, you know, the Mark 12 suppressors are the quietest 5.56 suppressors that you could possibly get. And after shooting this one today, I'd have to probably agree. I don't have first-hand experience with every 5.56 suppressor out there, but this would definitely be hard to beat. Now, it is a pretty long can, but most of this, or a lot of this, is over the barrel. So what you get essentially is just a huge blast chamber that gives a lot of room for that gas to expand, and then you've got your baffles to really slow down that gas, which is basically however suppressor works. what you're gaining here is a lot more blast chamber. The can does have a really great tone, and the tone certainly lends to it sounding even quieter. I'm sure the lower tone you can get, it usually comes through to your ear as a quieter suppressor. So definitely a great tone. Accuracy wise, I certainly didn't get a very big impact shift from non-suppressed to suppressed, and that was one of the requirements with the original Mark 12 program. The suppressor had to provide as little impact shift as possible, and they've definitely carried that through over on the Otter Creek can here. I didn't have the most perfect zero on this gun to begin with. I haven't had as much time with it as I'd like, and I was already shooting to the right a little bit, so this might have pushed it to the right just a little bit more. Definitely not enough to cause you to miss any significant target whatsoever. So certainly a good accurate can. These SPR barrels are pretty prevalent. This barrel is from Ballistic Advantage. It does have a 1 MOA guarantee, and it does seem to shoot about 1 MOA. It's not a really expensive barrel, so if you're looking to build something like this yourself, it's certainly doable. The brake and collar are definitely available on the market. Otter Creek sells a brake and collar. So doing a build like this of your own certainly wouldn't be hard to do. There are one-piece devices that you can buy. Otter Creek sells a device that has kind of the brake and collar built in together that will either attach to the end of a barrel or slide over a barrel and thread on, and you could run this suppressor on a lot of other builds as long as you've got that space on the end of your barrel. So technically you could run this on a lot of different builds, 16-inch barrels, whatever. The only thing that is required is about this much space on the end of your barrel. So if you guys are looking for the ultimate suppression for 5.56, head over and check out Otter Creek's website. I'll leave a link in the description, and check them out. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to check out the description, check out my campsite page, do your shopping from my links there on the campsite page, save yourself a little money and help out the channel at the same time. I certainly appreciate it. I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe. We'll catch y'all on the next one.